All right. Local Newsletter Insider episode coming up, one I've been waiting for a while. We are here with Mike Higgins from Green Bay, who just launched his first newsletter. Was that officially today it got launched, Mike?
I mean, it hasn't even technically gone out yet because we're going to
Oh,
talk about it, but
oh, okay.
it is going out is the second we figure this out today. It's
Okay.
written. It's written. We'll
It's,
look at it right now. So if
we'll
people are
look at
looking
it.
at this on YouTube or Spotify video or whatever it is, you'll be able to see it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, Mike, give everybody an overview. Well, actually, but I'm going to give my overview first. I've been telling Mike to launch a local newsletter for at least 6 months. Actually, no, probably closer to a year. So I'm excited to have him on because he's finally doing it. So tell them, everybody, about you and why I probably think it's such a good idea for you to be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, you have said it for a while, and I don't think I've actually like pushed back on the idea.
No, you haven't.
I agree with the idea. It's just there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot going on. So I run a local
Mm-hmm.
real estate company, and we buy rundown homes, renovate them. We fix and flip a lot of properties. We also have a retail arm of that. So we're licensed, so we can sell, houses the traditional way, put a sign in your yard, whatever. And I would say I'm relatively well connected in my local community. So I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin. If you guys do a quick Google search, you can type in Green Bay into Google, and then the next thing that pops up is probably Packers. So I have an NFL football team here in a small town, which is pretty unique. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a big part of why TJ has been pushing me, because there's a dynamic there that is really interesting. And I think it gives people an opportunity to be maybe a big fish in a small pond, instead of everybody's online trying to be a big fish in a pond of 330 million people. That the population of the United States, for those of you that may be listening in other countries. But I think you could also try to be a big fish in a pond of 175,000 people, and that's probably well more more worth your time to be influential amongst 175,000 people than it is amongst 330 million. So that's my
Totally.
short synopsis.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, I just think my thoughts on Green Bay being such an ideal place for this. Actually, first, what is the general population? Say the metro area of Green Bay.
I mean, if I do the county that we're in, Brown County, Wisconsin population,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to put us somewhere around like 275,000 in the
275.
county.
Okay.
So if we're looking specifically Green Bay, Wisconsin, um, then we're going to be about 105,000. So I would say about
Okay.
150 in the
150.
surrounding,
Sorry.
little cities, little towns.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, that's to me just such an ideal size. I mean, yeah, I guess a little bit bigger is better, but I mean that's a totally reasonable range. But I think what makes it so cool is it's number one, the NFL thing's cool. It's a well-defined city and area. You have actual your own media there, which will make it very easy for you to pull the information from. And then, of course, the other biggest reason, well, two reasons related to you personally, is number one, your personality. I think you're, the type of guy who can become a leader in your community, which is awesome. And then finally, your job, right, or your business, real estate, high LTV, flipping homes, selling homes. Like basically, you are in the market where if you position yourself as an awesome guy helping the community, people are going to want to come to you to buy, sell homes, and you're going to make a ton of money. And that's why I think this is such an obvious opportunity for you.
Yeah, and I think it also just allows you to be have a more peer-to-peer relationship with other businesses in the area, right? So,
Yeah.
um, I think of some guys that I know that do this in other markets, and it's like, yeah, the newsletter is great, but the opportunities that's come off of the newsletter from a business perspective has been so much higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And how it may not even end up being real estate, right? It may be something else
Right.
comes up.
I most there's a 99% chance that it's not going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be something else. I mean, I might end up. You just don't know. You end up. I might buy a pet grooming business or something. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
just because
Yeah.
you don't know. It's like all of a sudden you're talking to somebody, they're advertising with your newsletter, and then you come to find out they want to retire and they don't know where to start, what to do with their business. You're like, oh, by the way, I'd love to own a pet grooming business, and all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, wow, boom, I'm in the pet grooming business.
Totally. Totally. No, this is awesome. So you're just now jumping in, diving in. We've been talking a little bit about some strategies, things to do, Canva, how to use Beehive, Facebook ads, all these things. I want to show everybody what you've got and kind of give you my feedback on the newsletter. We can maybe even show the Facebook ad. Is there anything that jumps out at you want to kind of go over or talk about as somebody who's just now diving in?
Yeah, I mean, I do think so. I pulled it up here as well on my end. I know you're gonna look at it, but just top of mind things to think about. I do think the name of your newsletter is gonna make a matters. Don't name it something stupid. The logo, I mean, as you know, going back and forth with you, we're just trying to figure that out. The Green Bay Buzz, that's the Buzz. You have the Scoop, Leander Scoop for your local one. Green Bay Buzz is a similar feel, but like it just is an alliteration in a way, right? Green Bay Buzz. Yep. It sounds kind of good. And then color scheme as well. It's very obvious that I have to do green and gold in this area. You don't have a choice. Now, but you got to be careful because you can't do like the exact green and gold of the Packers because those colors are trademarked. So, and then just I think the other things to think about are, how to structure it. And for me, I didn't really overthink it. I looked at what you were doing in Leander. I looked at what Scott Groves was doing in Henderson. And really just copy it, So that's, I think, just getting started. Those are a couple things. I don't know what else comes to mind for you when you're thinking about what we were talking about.
Yeah. Let's see. What would be important? I mean, I think how you structure the newsletter itself is something I want to go over, and we'll look at what you've got. Sometimes I think because we're in newsletters where space is limited for good reason, right? Because we want to make it easy for people to read. You have to be much more careful about what content you're putting in and what you're leaving out, right? So I think that can be key. And then we can go over the Facebook ad thing. I know before we jumped on, you had a minor issue with Facebook that you fixed yourself, but is important for people.
But it's a really easy thing. It's a really easy thing for somebody to screw up.
Totally. I told you I screwed it up myself. And that's why being on top of it, luckily in your case, and I think mine, it was like a $30 mistake and not a $300 mistake. So in some ways that's a good thing. You learn the lesson really, really cheaply. So let's go over the Facebook stuff too. And we'll just chat and ask me any questions, and let's just share what you're going through, and I'll help where I can. All right.
All right. Are you gonna?
Let's see. I'll share
screen first.
Yeah, I'm gonna share your newsletter. This is the webpage version. I don't know. Did you have a background color?
No.
For your newsletter?
Not that I know of.
You didn't.
I mean, that's the other thing that I was gonna. So, give me your thoughts. I have a couple questions, but give me your thoughts overall for those of you that because this is going up on YouTube, right? Also.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that can't see it here, it's going to be really difficult, but we'll talk through it and try to make it as beautiful in your ears as possible.
Yep. Okay. So first thing that jumps out at me and again, everything I'm going to say, by the way, this is all my opinion. Please, everybody understand. Even when I say I think or act like it's a fact, obviously it's not. I'm just giving my opinion here. Okay. First thing that I think is a good idea for newsletters is to have a background color, because it allows somebody when they open it to instantly recognize that that's what it is, that it's different from other newsletters, right? Like almost every other email or newsletter has a white background, right? Okay. So if yours has a background that's, should be really light, obviously, it just makes it stand out, and like somebody can instantly know it's yours without reading or seeing anything, because they get used to seeing, in your case, maybe it's a very, very light green background. They know the second they see it that it's a light background.
What do you think of that gold color that is in the Wisconsin part there? Go up a little bit.
This?
No, go up. On the logo? Oh, the logo doesn't show up when you're in the edition here. Sorry.
No, yeah, because the logo. Oh, that's a great point. Actually, you know what? Hang on. So when you're on the website, it doesn't show it. I think you can actually change that, but let me pull it up in my email system. Yes, actually, your logo does show up in the email, so that's good. And I can't show it, unfortunately, but just to make it clear, your logo is small and it needs to be bigger, in my opinion.
Which we did. Yep.
You already fixed it? Okay, it's funny because what you have is the standard size. I don't know why Beehive makes the logo standard size really small, and it's kind of not obvious that you can make it bigger. So for everybody listening, mine was small for a little while until we figured that out. So, okay, cool. All right, number one, you're doing featured event of the week. Well, you've got a mini little we kind of call the first section like the editorial, where you kind of just write from your own voice about whatever you want. You're saying this is the first edition. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Okay. So then you get to featured event. I think this is super smart. You probably saw I was doing this. I think Mike from Catskills was the first one I saw doing this. And what makes it awesome is it's one of those things that I think it's perfect for your readers, but it's also perfect for you as a business because you can eventually charge for this. Right?
Exactly. That's what. Yeah. That's exactly it.
So just do it for free. Again, we're not charging for it yet. Hopefully at some point. But I also think it kind of helps stand out in a way because we all know that events is the main driver of the newsletters, why people sign up. So giving them a taste at the top and then at the bottom is where all of them are. I think it's just a good thing in general for people to see an event before having to scroll down to see all the events, right?
Yeah.
And
The only other thing that I will be hypocritical of myself here, and I'll admit, like a lot of this stuff is, I have a VA that's helping me out with a lot of this, just from a time perspective, right? So she's kind of going through and seeing what's going on, literally like through local local newspaper sites and or like news outlets that are on Facebook and whatnot. If I was going to critique myself here, I wouldn't have showcased a Dave and Buster's. I would have done something more local and not a
well,
franchise. It is local to us, right?
Yeah,
but like and this is just nuanced, right? Like I would have done Tom and Patty's Platter or something that's down the road that's doing or some local church is doing a breakfast, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that argument, although personally, I wouldn't care about this. If it's something cool that people would want to go to, I don't care if it's David. I mean, my kids love Dave and Buster type places with the video games and stuff. I want to know. So, but
I
to your
just think
point,
in our area, like the local
people
feel,
like that more.
like local community, people love local.
Yeah,
more.
yeah. That's less common where I am. So again, as usual, it's dependent on where you are. Okay, first thing here, you've got your category title here is super custom, almost more so than I normally have seen. I actually think this looks really good, dude. This is she made this.
I have a female VA doing it, and it's not me.
Yeah. No, this looks really good. Although I might say making the buzz break a little bit bigger, like easier to see. It's a little small, but it's not bad. I mean, it's good the way it is. I would almost say this might be the best page break I've seen, including mine. That's like really good. So that's awesome. All right, then you just got basically these are the news, right? Okay.
We have the NFL draft coming next month, which is a huge deal.
That's a big deal. Yep. And so you've got the title. You can click on the link of kind of the title section. That's a cool way to do it. I like that. We normally put like at the end, read more here. Your way actually might be better, so that's cool.
And then it's just backlinking to whatever, like the Associated Bank hosts a kickoff meeting, so it's going to Associated Bank, right?
Yeah, totally. Yep. Okay, then growth. What's this? What's Green Bay growth mean? Just about news.
This is a new business, a new business expansion here.
Okay.
Is something I don't know. We're gonna play with it a little bit too. Like this is a new development, 40,000 square foot entertainment venue set to open. Nice. So like literally like the community growing, new stuff coming in.
Okay. Love it. Yeah. People love to hear about new things coming into town, right? I know I do. So yeah. Okay. Fork and flavor. I assume that's restaurants. Cool. So actually, you know what? I missed a piece of advice so far. So my big piece of advice is text. Everybody has short attention spans now. I would say number one, you want to have a photo, at least one photo in each section. So the way I would think about this is maybe your top news story, put a photo that's somehow related to that news story at the top. Right.
Okay. Because, and then would you shorten that stuff up then? Like literally the Associated Bank hosts, if kickoff, whatever, you could end it you could end it there and put a picture of Associated Bank.
This does seem to me, it's definitely too long without it. Minimum, it should be, enter down like 2 paragraphs. But to your point, is it interesting enough to read the whole thing? Or is it more like, hey, this is interesting news in general, but they don't need to get all the news from my newsletter. They can click on it if they care more in detail. Right. So yeah, I would say realistically, this could probably be half as long. I'm guessing kind of like you have the first 2. So I think those are good lengths and look fine. So I just think you want to add a photo for sure. And I think that goes for each section. Again, think visually of like people wanting text to be broken up, right?
Dude.
Even though you have the same amount of text, just breaking it up.
Yeah, right. Like you're writing on Twitter, right? Like kind of.
Yeah, well, that's the writing side. Yeah, right, like Twitter. Yes.
Yeah.
One line, each line gets its own paragraph.
There's actually I've stumbled across another local newsletter that's in my area, not in my area, but in a different city that's like smaller. He has 42,000 subscribers.
What?
Yeah, it's wild. So it's just a Facebook page. It's not even a newsletter. It's just a Facebook page.
It's just Facebook
Sorry.
page. Okay.
So he has 42,000 likes. Like people that follow him.
Okay.
Which I think that's pretty crazy in a small area that they're like 30,000 population. So
well, there may be something a little.
It's a destination place. So there's a lot of like people from Illinois have summer houses and stuff up there. So it's a destination area, but pretty awesome. He basically
is it in Green Bay?
Things.
Is it like a part of Green Bay?
No, it's about an hour north of us.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Connect me with him too. Maybe he needs to get a local newsletter going. All right. So yeah, this section too, I would have a photo, right? Whatever it's about, add a photo. Same with restaurants. I'd put a photo. So the other thing that we do in ours, and it does take a little bit of extra work, but it's really not that hard. Once you know how to do it, it takes like 2 minutes, is we'll make a GIF of, let's say for the restaurant, we'll make a 5-picture GIF of it. So number one, that just adds a sense of seeming to me. It's like professionalism. Like, holy crap, there's, how people don't know how easy it is to make those things.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can just grab 5 photos of this Bel Air Cantina, turn it into a GIF, and then in Beehive system, it's just a picture. So you just download it so you make it in Canva as a video. And by the way, that's the secret. It's a video. And then when you download in Canva, one of the options is GIF. So you click GIF, and then in Beehive, you treat it like a photo. And then it's just that easy. So you don't have to do that, but that would be one suggestion of something cool to do. But at least have a photo there for sure. Okay, another thing I'm seeing here for this, you got a poll here.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I would put I don't know what they call it, Beehive, but like put a box around it so that it kind of pops that it's something not specifically a part of this Bel Air Cantina thing. See how they kind of almost merge together? So I know you click on the 6 dots on Beehive, and then I think it says visual settings, something like that. And then one of the options is border. I think it's border. So you're basically adding a border around this section, and then you could add a color into it as well. So it could be a border by itself or a border with a different color, so it pops even more.
Yeah.
So I would do that. Okay. Real estate, same thing. We make GIFs of our houses, although we just changed ours a little bit, so we may not do that anymore. If we were just doing one house, we would make a GIF.
And I don't even know if real estate's going to be a highlight of every single episode or edition. Like it might not be. Like I was telling my VA, like these page breaks where it's like the fork and flavor, the buzz. Like some things will be every edition, like without question, because people want that. Events will be every edition, but real estate or some other happenings might be once in a while. This one is obviously an easy one. This lady I know, I'm highlighting her specifically, which is great for her. But this house has been for sale for literally 8 or 10 years. So everybody knows this house. It's right next door to Aaron Rodgers' old house. It's about a 15,000 square foot monster.
Is it like in Green Bay? That's like what, 700K or something like that.
Oh no, it was like 3.3 million.
I know. I'm kidding.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but that was only 3 million.
Yeah, I don't even know what it sold for. It hasn't hit the county record yet, but it just closed literally this week.
So here would be my advice on the real estate section. And again, do whatever you want. Of course, this is my thought and how we're starting to do it. For you, my opinion for you specifically, I would always do real estate. Number one, for you, you're a real estate guy. Like I would absolutely make real estate part of my thing. So I can't pull it up. Maybe I'll pull it up later. What we just started doing, we were doing this, right? Just featuring one house. So what we were doing is just featuring the most expensive house on the market. Okay. That was getting almost always, it would be in the top 3 clicks. So what that means is people are interested in it. They're clicking on it, right? So give the people what they want, right? You want clicks. They want to see real estate. Great. I'm not benefiting from that because I'm not a realtor in the real estate industry. you could, in theory, again, there's probably different things you'd have to do to make that valuable to you. But also, I think for you, it's getting people used to the idea of real estate being a big part of the newsletter so that when you do want to market yourself or, hey, buy, do you want to sell your house with no realtor fees in one day, that kind of thing, they're used to it. There's a real estate section. It's always there. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same argument to make about ads, right? Which is to say, I don't care if you don't have somebody paying you for ads. Go offer them for free and put them in the newsletter because you want to train your audience to know that this is a newsletter that has ads. That's how we justify doing it. We make money via ads. So personally, I think you should do the same thing with real estate. And then you could even just do the whole thing too of like, it doesn't always have to be about you. You could do, like you said, this lady. Once you get bigger, you can be like, hey, can you help me with this deal? I'll put you in the newsletter for free. Right? That kind of thing. It ends up giving you space for things to trade with people. Because you're in that industry, there's probably a lot of things that you could get help from somebody else. And now this is your way of helping them back. Makes sense? So that's my thought. And then the other thought, just real quick, what we're doing now is we're featuring 3 houses. And this came from Scott's idea from Henderson, is feature one, like basically cheap house, one normal, typical middle class house, and then feature, one of the most expensive houses in town. Because then
you're catching all the different.
You're kind of getting all sides of like, okay, people mostly want to click on the most expensive one to see that, but then you're getting them used to seeing actual houses they could theoretically buy. And that's where that could be valuable to you or a real estate partner or somebody. So, anyway, that's just my thoughts there. All right. Happening now. Cool. Yep. You've got when, where. So you don't have a description of it, which may not be a bad thing.
Well, if you click on the Hop It to Bunny, it'll take you to the.
Yeah.
And granted, that was the one, like that was the feature event of the week too.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, yep. These, just to throw this out there, you're kind of a little off center here from this one. I try to keep them in the same order there, but not a huge deal. What's the difference here? You've got, looks like 3. Oh, these are all the same, I guess, under this
yes,
one.
The Jazz
That's what
Fest.
you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. So happening now, what's the difference between happening now and what's local buzz?
Local buzz is more like news-worthy stuff, not necessarily events. So like this is traffic road closures for the draft coming up. What's going to be happening, So
what's the difference between this and the new? Wasn't there news at the top, or am I forgetting?
The news at the top was so I think the buzz break was just it's a good question. I think so. I'm looking at road closures. This might be more in depth.
Yeah, it could just be. I mean, that may be a good thing, is to say, hey, the big stories are at the top, and then at the bottom,
the buzz break, I think, is so. What I envision the buzz break being at the top is like, hey, here's the here's the TLDR of the whole newsletter. Boom, 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 boom. Is probably what you should do.
Okay,
and then more in depth at the bottom. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll have iterations. We'll see where people
just
click
keep
to and what ends up happening.
Yeah, totally. Okay, that's a wrap. Stay connected. So again, another thing I would start doing is, especially like kind of toward the end, maybe here, this whole
it's
visually,
too much. Yeah, the end is too clumped together.
You can break it up. So it's called content break in Beehive. If you hit the slash and then hit content break, it just puts a line between them. And again, it helps that visual differentiation, like, oh, you're in a different section now. So you should do that. Yep, you've got to follow us on Instagram. So I would also create, you've probably seen on mine, a lot of us are doing it, for your picture at the bottom, create almost like I don't know what you call it, like an email signature thing with your image in it. It just looks way more professional than just like a photo. A lot of us are doing it. I took it from, I think Jazz maybe was the first person I saw doing it. Almost everybody does it very similarly now. I think and again, it's just a Canva image is all it is. So I would throw one of those together. And then lastly, my other big piece of advice for you, especially you, again, it depends on what angle you're going at this, right? I know somebody was messaging to me like they wanted to be more professional. There's actually an argument both ways, of course, but I would add GIFs in this, man, like fun ones. Like make it fun. Like, so we get comments, not a ton, but we get comments of people saying how much they love to see the gifts in the newsletter. It just really adds a lighthearted touch. It makes it fun to read and to see. And again, if you think about who, especially in your case, you have legit competition because you're in a real city with its own media. You have more, it may not newsletter competition, but like other ways to get information. And so one of the easiest ways for you to differentiate is to like be the fun version, right? Everybody else is probably just like very journalistic, boring, stating the facts because they don't have opinions. You could just be like the fun guy, right? And just throw fun stuff in there.
Yeah, I think the best way to. Are you familiar with the Savannah Bananas?
Yes,
At all?
I am. Yep.
So like, do to newsletters or news what they've done for baseball, right?
Dude,
Make it fun.
That's really interesting. I'm going to post that on Twitter after. Yeah, man, I totally think so. I also would say, I obviously haven't read your newsletter. I'm not really reading the words here, but another way to think about this too is like writing more in the morning brew hustle style, right? Which is like a little more fun, a little more engaging, entertaining. And I think
that'll come when I do more of the writing myself. Like I'll be able to incorporate that,
Yeah. What you should do is have her or AI, whatever is kind of doing the first draft. And then you just come in and edit it and make it more fun and more relatable as a resident, right? You always have to be keeping in mind. I think everybody knows at this point, AI is not going away, right? And so how do you differentiate yourself? AI is never going to be good at writing from a perspective of somebody who actually lives there and knows.
Well, that's how I knew that's how I knew that real estate picture or the house that was selling.
The house, yeah. You should even mention that. Like, so what I would do, perfect example, I would write in here somewhere like, or maybe you did, I don't know. Yeah, the one I would say, I can't believe this thing finally sold. It's been so crazy how long it's been on the market. That kind of tone. For example, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show before, but in my area, they announced they're putting in a Chick-fil-A, right? So it's like, okay, everybody knows Chick-fil-A has problems with drive-throughs, because they have so many people love to wait in line to buy it. But in my case, they were putting it near a McDonald's that already has problems with traffic because the intersection's weird. So I was able to comment about the combination of the McDonald's problem that already exists.
Yeah. That only people, nobody would know.
Nobody would know that unless AI can never know, like, oh yeah, this intersection is weird. It's already backed up. And now there's a Chick-fil-A. Holy crap. How are they going to deal with this? And I think that type of insight is what's going to help people like us, when you actually live there, to succeed when there's tons of these AI ones that come out. Everybody knows they're not real. The people don't live there. Right.
Yeah.
So
how much of your newsletter do you actually write?
Well, Ashley writes it. I don't write it. I do a lot of the gifts though. That's pretty much my my value add is they put in non-funny ones and then I put in funny ones, what I think is funny. So,
and then where is she finding all of her scoop?
So the way we find news is a combination of just searching, typical stuff. But, because we live here, we are in the Facebook groups, right? Local Facebook groups. Google News is probably a big one too, like the local section in Google News. But so throughout the week, whenever we see something on our phone in a Facebook group or on Google News or whatever, I'll just copy the link and throw it in our Discord. And then when we go back to actually write the newsletter later, that's how when we just find things at random times and throw them in there, like accidentally, essentially.
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know Google News existed.
Dude, so. I found Google News like 2 years ago and I'm obsessed with it. It's like the best. It's the best. Yeah. And do you go to Google News? Does it have already built in a section for you for Green Bay? It's at the very top.
I mean, it says, it says Appleton and Kakana. So I got to manage it. So I got to just type in Green Bay.
Yep. So that's a great place too. Let's see. Yeah, man, I think for a first shot here, I think this is really, really good. I think just everything I think I'm talking about, you probably knew most of it, but is relatively minor and easy to do. And I think you got a winner here, man. Like I think you're going to crush this if you stay at it. And then of course, the other issue with these is acquisition, right? Which maybe we can go over now if you want to chat about, or you want to show me your Facebook ads.
Yeah.
It looked like while you're pulling it up, you sent them to me like a week ago or something, and they looked a little off, but you just showed me before we jumped on and they looked a little bit better. I don't know if you changed them since you showed them to me. Did you or no?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Let me see.
You just didn't pay enough attention.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we'll go to the ads. I mean, it's really just one ad,
I thought you
right?
had two. Where's the other one?
Well, the other one is the same ad, but it was a different. So it's not really one. I originally set it up, and I didn't remember. I asked you the question like, do I do lead? Like, there's when you set up an
Mm,
ad on
mm,
Facebook, there's so many different things you can choose from.
mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't pick the right one,
Oh,
so
okay.
I eventually got with basically where I put a pixel on the website for subscriber conversion. So it was the same ad copy in written word, just with two different types of
Okay. So the ad itself was the same. It was just the back end
correct.
Facebook stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yep. So
Okay. So
basically,
yeah, can you click on one of those? Is it possible to make that bigger?
yeah, let me go to the next page
All
here.
right.
I think I got to go to the creative. Good question. Expand.
There you go. Okay.
Can you see it here?
Yep. So hit play. Let's see. Okay.
So
So you got the
basically, this is
background.
just background, you know. Um,
So is that? I assume that's actually Green Bay. That whatever that building is. Or
yeah,
no?
that's downtown.
That
Yep.
is okay. So that's good. So this is the type of ad that's working well for me, and I think most others are using an ad similar to this, which is basically a video background and then text on top of it. The one thing that I would say that I think why mine have done really well is the background video is actually a video of me that I took at a local event with bounce house and booths and all that stuff, like a little mini fair thing.
Yeah.
And I think that visually is more engaging than just kind of the stock footage of a town. So the stock footage of a town is better than nothing because at least they can visually see it's actually Green Bay. But
Yep.
I think you might want to try just filming walking around a local fair or something. Because the idea there is to say, here's how I think about it. If you think about people scrolling their feeds, the first thing they're seeing when they see this is the background video before they start to read the text, right? So the background video is what's actually going to get them to read the text, right? Like the funnel. So the top of funnel is a background video. Yes, it shows Green Bay, but it doesn't show anything about fun events, right? It's just like, oh, this is the city of Green Bay. Pay attention because you live in Green Bay. That's probably okay, but better is like, hey, visually you are seeing an event that looks really fun and you want to know what is going on in this fun video.
Right.
And then you read the text and the text says whatever, missing events or something like that. And then they say, okay, I saw a video about fun events. Now I'm reading text that says for free, they'll tell me where the events are. Okay, I'm going to go to that and click on it. So I would urge you to try that background. Now click on it again because it does look like your text is a bit different than mine. Okay, yours says Green Bay Weekly Scoop straight to your inbox. Okay. Actually, before we go, can you did you think you set up the pixel and everything right? Do you know what you're getting subscribers for right now?
No, I have no idea.
Well, let's look at.
Well, remember, it didn't track anything because I had this is
you didn't have the
the
pixel?
mistake that I made because I had it going to the wrong URL. I had it going to,
well, yeah.
remember? We talked about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So that was what we talked about in the beginning of the thing is like I spent $30 and I was like, why in the heck do I have 0 subscribers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason I had 0 subscribers is because when they clicked on the ad, it would go to greenbaybuzz.com and I needed it to be greenbaybuzz.com/subscribe.
Yep.
So just a small minor issue there.
But wait a minute. Hang on though. When we went to greenbaybuzz.com, you have nothing there. Why don't you have at least the Beehive page up on that website if you own that website? So you should,
I don't know how to do that.
You should do that ASAP. So you need to do like your DNS settings. It's annoying, but yeah, you got to get something on Green Bay.
But I don't have a website through Beehive. I
Yes,
just
you
have
do.
the okay.
Yeah, you do. You have one. It's automatic. Yeah. Yep. So you just gotta assign it right. You don't have to do anything other than set it up. Set up
Okay.
like the DNS and routing and all that stuff. It'll have a stock homepage. So do that. Real quick, let me see. Click on your preview so I can see what you're sending them to. What website?
Oh, it's just
I want to see what it looks like. It's not showing me. Can you share whatever
Oh,
opened?
I see. Share this tab instead. So
Okay.
it's just this.
Yep. No, this is actually good news. So you're doing it right. This is good. There's nothing else there, right? There's nothing to do here except give you their email. So that's
The
good.
one thing I need to do is, like we said, we need to add a background to the subscriber page too.
What do you mean, like the color thing?
Yeah, here.
Um,
Just to,
you can. I don't think it's as important here. You could. Yeah.
I agree.
Uh,
It's just a small touch, though.
yeah.
I think that looks
Yeah.
better and is more
Yep.
congruent
The other thing
with
that I've done
everything.
too. So yeah, no, I agree. The other thing I've done, and again, I don't know how much this is working, but if you go back or you had two lines there above
Oh,
the
you want me to
sign in
go?
box.
Sorry.
Yeah, just real quick, let me because this might help. So you have Green Bay Buzz is the title, then you have the subtitle,
Yep.
local scoop delivered weekly. Okay. Above, there's a you can add one more line here above Green Bay Buzz, and it's even smaller. But we put in ours there. We put in the words "free forever."
Oh,
So
okay.
again, because if you think about what are the objections people might have, it could be, oh, is this going to cost me money? Is this going to, whatever. So by saying, remember, you just want to say free as much as you can. So you never get that fear of like, oh, I would sign up, but they're probably going to figure out a way to charge me. Like, nope, this is free forever. So again, I don't know how much that's working, but we do that. And so there you go. Okay. Go back to your ad because I do think you might want to try to change something or leave this one up and then create
Yeah, I just
another ad.
restarted it with directing it to the right person or to the right
What do you
link.
mean?
To the right link.
No,
Sorry.
I know. Yeah. Let me just see your ad though, or can you pull it up? Because while your ad looks pretty similar to what I'm doing, what a lot of people are doing, the verbiage is a little different at the top, and it could help. What I would urge you to do is create a second ad and test them against each other.
Okay.
Right. The one you have versus what I'm suggesting.
Okay.
I can't see it if you're sharing it.
Oh, I have it.
I just see you.
Oh, sorry. I ended the share.
No worries.
There.
All right. So yours says, so at the top part of the ad says Green Bay. Oh, you know what? I think you also have way too much text up there. I wasn't even going to talk about that. I think at the top here, again, I'm not quite as great at this stuff, but our numbers are pretty good, so I'm assuming we're doing it right. You should make that text like one sentence. Yeah, like I would even take out the see more. I would just like leave it at that where it says, want the inside scoop in Green Bay, subscribe, your weekly newsletter packed with everything locals care about. I would probably just leave it at that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Then the other change I would make is your graphic, your video image thing. It says Green Bay's weekly scoop straight to your inbox free. What we're doing, most people are doing is that's the first thing that people are going to see, right? Have it say tired of missing fun events in Green Bay, right? Question mark.
Where is it saying that?
In the yellow, in your video,
Oh,
the gold.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So instead of saying the weekly scoop straight to your inbox, say, hey, are you tired of missing local events?
Okay.
Question mark.
I'm gonna write
right?
that down.
And then I like how you have free in there. I'd probably put it at the bottom though. I'd put it like, I would also, I mean, you don't really need your logo in there. I might replace your logo with the word free or free forever, something like that. And then I think the middle section, is basically fine, I guess.
So literally, want the inside scoop in Green Bay? Subscribe to Green Bay Buzz. That's about it.
Basically, yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Yep. So I think again, to test what makes Facebook so great is you don't have to like dump what you've done, right? Just add another one doing what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
I see.
And then test it, and most likely Facebook will figure out which one's better and send people that way. Then the other thing is, as you said, just make sure you have the pixel set up properly, because in the reports there, you can look up cost per result. And so what you want is the pixel needs to be on the subscribe button, right? So when they hit subscribe, that's what triggers Facebook to say you succeeded, essentially.
Yeah, and that gets set up in Beehive. I set that up already.
Okay.
Copied it from Facebook over to Beehive. There's like a line that you put it in.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. Well, those are my suggestions, man. I think you're off to a really good start. Just some of this minor stuff, you got to get the details right, and then you are good to go. And I think you're in such a killer spot, man. I think you're going to do well with this. Exciting.
Yeah, just got to stick with it long enough to make
Yeah.
it work.
But again, you're lucky. You have an assistant, right? Have her do 80-90% of it, and then you're coming in to add your local flavor on it, right? Another thing you'll get is she'll pick stories, and you'll be like, "This is a stupid story. Just delete it," right? That's you're the curator, right? You're curating and putting your local spice on it. You don't need to do the entire grunt work, right?
That's what you should create for a like a lead magnet. You should create like a checklist that you give away for free. How many local stories, how many local events, like just the ideal checklist for each episode or for each
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what
Issue. Yeah.
issue. Yeah. And you should give that away as like your opt-in to your local newsletter insiders.
Dude, I've been trying to think about lead magnets and what I need to create that people want. That might be a great one.
That is a good one because I'd look at that every single time and be like, all right, I got 3 business, I got 1 real estate, I got 3 events and 4 restaurants. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever it may be, you know?
Yep. Yep. And then the other key that I've been talking about a lot lately, which I don't think you need to stress about at all now, but at some point is going to more than once a week, right? Number one, it opens ad slots, which is the obvious reason. But number two, even if you don't have ads, or getting paid very much for them, it's just about people seeing you more, right? When they only see you once a week and they only see you in an email, it's easy to just be like, yeah, that thing's cool, but they don't really ingrain your brand into their head. When they see you more frequently, they start to realize, okay, this is a legit brand. I'm seeing them all over the place, right? Also why Instagram is super important. And you especially, we talked about, you should do a local podcast 100%. At some point. You don't need to worry about it now, but.
Here, let me show you this.
Yeah.
Because I got it. So she just switched the background.
So the opposite, I think you did the opposite of what I'm saying. So you want the background, what's white now. So that would actually look cool on the website, but that's not, the newsletter would still look the same, right? Because they're only seeing the middle.
So do it the opposite of this.
Yeah, you want what's white right now is what I'm saying, to turn some kind of color. And you definitely want it to be super light tone because you don't want it to, make it hard to read anything. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is it's a good start.
Yeah. No, it's really good. Real quick, what is your thoughts? Are you open to the idea or planning on at some point doing like custom Instagram content?
Oh, that was one of the thoughts I had. If you really want to integrate this thing to be more cohesive, if you planned out, so this is where, just like anything else in life, like more planning leads to a better product and a better result probably. Where if you planned out, say, next week's restaurant guide and say say in 2 weeks now, because it's Friday, say what restaurants you're going to spotlight in 2 weeks, you should go to those restaurants in video, or like that food truck or whatever in video, and say, hey, I'm here at Diablo's Tacos. I come here 3 times a week. This is the best, whatever it is. And then that video can go out on Instagram the same week that issue goes out.
You can, so not only, that's a great idea. Not only can you do that, you can actually in the newsletter link to the Instagram content. So here's another thing you can do when we were talking about the GIF thing. You can make a GIF that's like 20 seconds long. That's literally a video, right? It obviously has no sound and they can't control it, but you can make a 20-second GIF and upload it into Beehive. So what you could do is that content that you made, make a 20-second GIF of it, put the GIF above the text that says, oh, this, Billy's restaurant's so great. Check it out. Click the image above and it'll take you to Instagram to watch the whole video.
Yeah.
Right. So again, to your point of integrating these things, yeah, I love that. Yeah, man, I think this is great. And then of course the local podcast, because you're a business guy and you want to connect with more local business owners. I think that's
and then would you name your local podcast the same as your newsletter?
I did. Yep. I think so. You need brand cohesiveness. So yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Man, that would be interesting. I might go all this DIY stuff I've been doing. I want to continue to do that. I think that has an opportunity to be a huge brand, but the local thing could be pretty interesting.
Totally. Like you said, man, you get to be the large fish in a small pond. I think you've got a huge opportunity for that. And in your case specifically, because you're already doing content for your DIY stuff, people may get to know you there for that. And then it's like sending them over. You're kind of sending people back and forth, building your stature for multiple reasons, which probably will pay off.
Yeah, and if you want to do a local podcast, I mean, why not set up a local studio in your hometown? Like, go rent out a space, set up a local studio, and then shoot the podcast there. Because if you're doing local business owners, they should be able to come to that local studio,
Yeah.
and it would be a pretty sweet spot. And then the other thing that you could do is you could rent it out to other people who do a podcast that want a studio spot.
I mean, that's a great idea. That's an awesome idea outside of
Cost money.
Yeah,
Right.
the cost there is the downside. I actually know somebody in my area doing this right now, and he doesn't have. I don't think he has anything other than a podcast, but it looks really impressive what he's got set up. So it's a great idea. Just yeah, money there being a little bit of an issue.
Slightly,
yeah. But man,
Cool.
I'm excited for you, dude. This is
appreciate the
great.
help.
So yeah, of course.
This
Obviously,
is
you
probably
know,
a little bit
reaching out.
different episode than most people are used to listening to, but I mean, this is like literally hands-on, showing
That's
you
right.
exactly what it looks like getting started. Because I mean, like I said, we're gonna hit send here on this when we hang up.
That's right. So yeah, if you obviously, hopefully nobody made it through this audio only because this is very visual. So go to YouTube, check it out, and yeah, if you want any feedback or help, or you want to be on the show, if you're new to this, just like Mike, let me know. Reach out. I'm happy to have you on. But thanks, Mike. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
All right, see ya.